And welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. And so today I'm going to be showing you whether or not it's worth it to use a $1,000 camera as your webcam, or maybe you should just choose a webcam instead and then save that money for something else. So I'm going to be showing you the differences between the two, and also maybe some pros and cons in using one versus the other, or maybe both at the same time. So let's go ahead and take a look at this comparison on using a camera as your webcam and just using your webcam by itself. Welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. On this channel, you'll learn how to be creative, and I'll teach you the tools you need to create. So be sure to hit the like and subscribe button to help the channel create more content like this. Okay, so before we get into the comparison, let's go ahead and take a look at the equipment that I'm working with. Starting off with this camera that I'm using right now. So this is the Panasonic G85 4K camera, and this came out around 2016. And whenever it was first released, this was over $1,000. And whenever I did purchase this camera, I got it for $1,000. But nowadays, you can get this camera from around $600 to $700, and even cheaper if you get it used. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the webcam, which is the C920. And so this one is a HD 1080p camera, and so this is an upgrade from my previous 720p Logitech C720 camera. So this is a very popular webcam that a lot of people use. And so with those equipment out of the way, why would you actually choose a camera over a webcam, or vice versa? Well, let's go ahead and look at the obvious thing. It's quality. So right now you're seeing this. I'm recording this using my Panasonic G85 camera, and this is recording in 1080p. So let's go ahead and move over to the webcam. So now I'm shooting this with the webcam, and obviously the view angle is going to be a little bit different, but if you're looking at this on a bigger screen, then you could definitely tell the difference. Now, I will say one thing: when it comes to the overall quality of this Logitech webcam versus my previous 720p webcam, this is definitely a really good looking camera in my opinion. It has a great mic. It's very versatile. You could easily mount this on a tripod. You can just screw it on. The threads are there. So this is a very, very good webcam in my opinion. And I think for most people, if you just want to shoot with the webcam, this is going to be the easiest way to do it. But it really cannot be denied that if you want the highest quality, then obviously a camera is going to give you all of that. And at the same time, since this does have interchangeable lenses, you could definitely change the way in which your videos look and the quality that you get out of it. And so that's the first and biggest thing, and there's really no comparison here. The quality through a camera is going to just be way better unless you're using a really cheap camera. But as I stated a little bit earlier, this webcam quality isn't bad at all, and I would say it's really going to be great for the vast majority of people who are going to be shooting videos on their computer. And so the second difference is going to be setup. Now, when it comes to a webcam, the setup is going to be the easiest by far, because all you have to do is you're going to have to stick it into a USB port, make sure your webcam is recognized through whatever software that you're using. And that's about it, because the microphone is already included, and this one has a screw and thread where you could just mount this on a tripod as well, or you set it on top of your monitor, which is what most people do. And so when it comes to actual setup, there's really no comparison here. The webcam's the easiest. So now whenever we move over to our camera, this one's definitely going to involve a lot more things. So if you decide to actually use your camera as your main video recording device on your computer, then you're definitely going to need a few things, primarily some type of video capture device. So in this case, I'm using a very good quality but inexpensive $30 video capture USB device, and I actually did an entire review on this as well. So if you did want to see that and get one yourself, I will leave that in the description area below. And so that's the first thing. And then other things that you have to consider whenever you're shooting this with a camera is you're going to need a better tripod, because this is definitely heavier. And then another thing that you need is some type of power source as well. So if in case you're running this off of batteries, then it could run out depending on how long you're going to record. And at the same time, if you do decide to use your camera as the main device, the whole setup thing is going to require you more time, whereas with the webcam, it's a lot easier, not unless you go ahead and leave your camera where it is and you don't change the setup and position. And then another thing that I would say when it comes to a camera is that since the quality and what it can do is just a lot higher level, then you're gonna have to think about things like lighting and stuff way more than you would with the webcam. Even though those things are important, I would say it's even more important whenever it comes to camera, so then you could get the proper exposure, the proper focus, and everything else that comes along with using a camera. There's definitely a lot more setup involved, and so in that case, a webcam is going to be a lot easier for you to set up and get going. So now the next thing we want to talk about is use cases. When would it be most optimal for you to use a camera versus a webcam, and vice versa? So at least for me, having a camera as my main video recording device directly to my computer, it just makes it a lot easier, because here I'm going to get the higher quality, and at the same time I don't have to record on my camera and then bring those files over to my computer and then I could edit it. So in this case, I just hit record through OBS. It's recording straight from my camera, and the video file is going to be created directly on my computer, which makes it super easy, and I don't have to go through all the trouble of taking it off of my camera, putting it on my computer, and so forth. And at the same time, I'm definitely going to get better quality out of it. So now let's talk about the use case for the webcam, because I think the webcam, due to its size, its EDC setup, is probably going to be more versatile. So in this case, you can use it as your main camera, or more often than not, you're probably going to use it on a setting like this, where you're going to actually be doing some type of tutorial where your video is going to be on a webcam, or maybe you're streaming, you're doing gaming. I think this is where the power of the webcam comes. And since it is at a lower resolution and also lower quality, it's going to be a lot easier for your machine to process this versus something like your camera, which is normally going to require a lot more processing power because the quality is going to be higher. And so there's definitely a difference there. But I really feel for a webcam, it works best whenever you want to do quick and easy videos, and whenever you want to do more of these tutorial or streaming based videos with your desktop. I think this works really well for those scenarios. So now let's look at an advantage that you get with using multiple cameras. So in this case, the obvious advantage is you get different angles. And so I'm shooting this right here with my camera, and then I could switch over to my webcam. And then if you wanted to do different types of backgrounds, you could do your desktop, image, videos, and so forth. And so this gives you a lot more versatility. It keeps things interesting. And at the same time, if you do have the room and space to have a multi-angle setup, this is going to be the best way to shoot things if you do want that type of production quality. So that's another, I would say, advantage to both whenever you have more than one camera source. For serious YouTubers, check out TubeBuddy, the premier tool news at geekoutdoors.com. Get more done today by checking out the affiliate link in the description area below. And then the final obvious difference is price. And so for the vast majority of people, I don't really think that it's worth it to actually get a camera as your first recording device. I think for most people, I highly recommend that they just start off with their phone. And then if they want something else besides that, then obviously a webcam is a natural progression of that. And then later on, if you are having more success with your channel, you kind of feel like this is worth the next upgrade to improve your overall production quality and also give you more versatility, I think then it makes sense for you to actually invest in a camera. But at least for me, I'm really thankful that I do have a camera, and also that I have a webcam that I can use. And who knows, maybe I'll have multiple cameras and webcams that I can use to really make things a lot more interesting. But as you can see here, there's definitely a difference between the two, but at the same time, there's also a lot of similarities as well. So if you actually had any thoughts on this, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And if you did want to see my reviews of the webcam, my camera, or my camera setup to my computer, I'll leave all of those links in the description area below. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on another episode. And if you're a creative geek like me, and you want to get exclusive access to more content that I don't put out here publicly on my YouTube channel, then join my Gold Content Creators group, where you're going to get content like this and more for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Gold Content Creators group.